A&M extended their lead. It's now 24-6 over the Houston Cougars in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Hey, we've got the new Pitt coach with us in the booth now. Tom Hart, Matt Stinchko, Pat Narduzzi, a Youngstown native, basically coming home about 70 miles from home and chance to be a head coach for the first time. What are your feelings right now as you juggle your previous responsibilities with Michigan State and now wearing the new jacket today?
Well, today I'm officially all Pitt Panther, and really focus on these guys today. Getting a chance to evaluate and watch how hard they're playing, and we talked before I left Pittsburgh in meeting with them about talked about playing with effort and great toughness, and I'm seeing that today.
Why was Pitt the right choice for you? You've had opportunities in the past. You've been a great defensive coordinator. Why was this a fit?
Well, you talk about the closest to home in Youngstown, Ohio. I think that's one of the reasons, but it was a perfect fit as far as recruiting goes. Being in my backyard, the Pittsburgh area, being able to go over to Ohio, into New Jersey and Maryland. I mean, just all the surrounding states, the tri-state area, recruiting-wise is a plus.
Well, your Pitt team has a big lead here now over Houston, 24-6, and you're fresh off of a comfortable win against Baylor just down the road in dramatic come-from-behind fashion.
That's how we do it.
Here's Ayers, who slips, taking it out to the 10-yard line. What are you most looking forward to as you get to Pitt and you start to get the ball rolling?
Well, I'm the new CEO of the University of Pittsburgh. What a great university, world-class university. So I'm looking forward to being the CEO, not just being a defensive coach, and impacting more people. Now impacting offense, defense, special teams, and the community, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
How familiar are you with what Paul Chryst had done? Obviously, you coached against him in his years in Wisconsin, so you got to have some level of familiarity having constructed defenses with what they do offensively already.
Well, I'm very familiar with it. I'm sitting there watching their offense, and I'm calling out the plays and formations. It looks a lot familiar to
You're going to take my job, coach? You're going to be up here and do the second half?
No, but it looks really, really similar. I can see what he's built, and I know the tough football team. I know he's done a great job recruiting, so I think we've got a great stable of players in the program, and I think it's only getting better. But I think Paul's set a great foundation here, and I like what they're doing today.
Different conference, with going to Pitt, obviously, and we've seen here of late some other conferences. Obviously, the one that you're leaving had one heck of a day. Talk a little bit about what we'll see in this national championship, because you're one of the few coaches in the country that will have faced both of these teams that will play for the title.
Isn't that amazing? We just had only one of those guys on our schedule. Maybe we've been sitting in one of those games.
Right.
Maybe I had another week to play, which would have been bad for Pittsburgh. But I think you're going to see a heck of a football game. I think that pass here looks like the first pass. I think it's going to be a heck of a football game. They got two explosive offenses. And I couldn't tell you who's going to win that game, but I know it's going to be a heck of a football game.
If you had to develop a defensive game plan against either one of those teams, where would you start with each, having already had the opportunity?
Well, with Oregon, you got to defend the quarterback and the quarterback runs. Similar to what Chad's doing today, a lot of the zone read keepers, and he's explosive. We played them. We had 8 3-and-outs, which was a lot more 3-and-outs than we had last night against Baylor. But he makes plays with his feet. We thought he was probably the best quarterback that we had seen until Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was another guy. I thought that hit the ground.
Yeah, they ruled it incomplete. It was scooped up by the Lafayette Pitt. So, but continue. Yeah, you had to face Russell Wilson. You had to face that Wisconsin offense.
Oh yeah. I mean, so Mariota's that type of difference maker. I mean, we had him dead to right a few times, and he just got out of trouble. We had 2 guys in the second series of the third quarter, and he turned it loose, and then they get that tempo going. So both of them are no huddle, tempo offense. And I think they're both very well coached, by Tom Herman and Scott Frost. So I think it'll be exciting.
When I think of the defenses that you coordinated at Michigan State, one of the first names I think of is Darquez Denard, who was developed into a great cornerback in the first-round pick. That looks incomplete. And what I think of is the freedom that great cornerbacks allow the rest of your defense to work with. The linebackers, the rush-ins, guys that get after the quarterback. Is that type of personnel in place already at Pitt, or is that something from the defensive side that may take a little while to get the right guys in place?
It may take a little while, but we've done it with different guys. And Darquez Denard was a 2-star cornerback out of South Georgia, just south of Atlanta. And so we've done it with different guys. So our plan is to, number one, the first thing we better do is make a team one-dimensional. We better be able to stop the run. We finished the season at number 1 in the country in rush defense. I think Baylor had minus 20 yards rushing last night. So we're going to try to make a team one-dimensional. For us to be able to do that, we got to have those 2 lockdown corners that do what they do. And we've had I don't know how many, 10 all-conference DBs at Michigan State. We expect to do the same thing at the University of Pitt.
Well, 125 seasons of Pitt football, long storied history, and a new coach to get you guys going. Pat, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate
Thanks, guys.
it. Best
Appreciate
of
it.
luck.
Thanks for having me on today.
Pat
Appreciate it.
Narduzzi, the head coach now for the Pitt Panthers, as they look to wrap up this bowl victory and hit the offseason in style. It's a 24-6 lead for Pitt with 4:10 to go in the third.